while it's a very good academic school, very rigorous school,
Yeah.
there's this reputation USC has that it's also a party school.
Mhm.
Is that true or not?
LA has a lot of stuff. Like it has beaches, it has mountains, it has the city, it has everything. Again, like I would never expect to go hiking, going to the beach, going somewhere in the city, in the same city, if that
Right,
makes
right.
sense.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's why it just has something for everyone.
yeah.
Again.
This is All Things College and Life. Hi, Vihaan. Good to have you on. The only time I can probably catch you in this December break because you're a busy man at USC. So
No, no,
glad to
stop.
have you on.
Yeah, glad to be here though.
Awesome. So I'm just gonna jump right into it, Vihaan. You've gone straight from school to Southern California, and
Mhm.
how was the first semester?
The first semester's been great. I mean, of course, I had to get used to and adjust to the environment there since it's so different than India. And the first 2, 3 weeks are always a bit difficult, if you want to say. But after that, once you get to know the right people, once you get used to the culture and everything around there, it's awesome,
Yeah.
honestly. Like.
And how is the change for you? Like, what were the initial? So you mentioned like initial couple of
Mhm.
weeks were a little bit of a challenge, perhaps. So what were
Yeah.
some of the things you were dealing with as you moved?
I mean, I already knew it was going to be like that, but that's given because once you go there, you get exposed to so many people. You have to be out there, like meeting everyone. Like for me, it was particularly difficult, maybe being introverted a bit, but after getting used to introducing myself to so many people and finding a group of people there, it got better. Then also the campus, I love the campus. It's a free space where we can do anything. During the day, it gets very lively. So once I get out of my dorm, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna meet anyone. Like it's someone, I'm gonna meet someone there, and then something just happens. And the night is completely empty, so I can just go for walks or whatever. So the transition it was pretty it might be a bit rough for the first 2 weeks. I can't go anywhere else, but after that it was pretty good. After that you get to know how you want to live at your university.
Sure, sure. What were some of the, do you remember any rough things that happened with you that made you feel like, oh my God, where am I now? And what
Well,
have I got myself into?
it wasn't rough, it was just the unexpectedness because like I remember feeling like shit when I was in my dorm, like
Uh,
doing nothing, waiting, thinking if I should go out or not. That was only the first week though. But the events at USC during the first 2 weeks, the welcome experience events, really made it easier because that's
yeah,
where I met most of my friends.
makes sense. And have
Yeah.
you built a good friend circle now?
Oh, of course, yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
everyone there is pretty awesome, so it's not that difficult.
Yeah. And you touched on this interesting thing, Vihan, which is that for someone like me who's a little bit more introvert, and I
Hmm.
remember that even when you were doing your, I think you were uh, going in for that head boy or president position at school, and there was that
Hmm.
speech you were trying to
Hmm.
work on as well. And I just remember that being such a big thing because you were
Hmm.
a little afraid to be going on the stage, talking in front of the school. It
Hmm.
was a pretty big deal. And how is like, did you feel like it was a bit of a struggle, or do you feel that people around you were also nice that you didn't have to work that hard to get yourself out there?
Oh, definitely. Everyone there was completely open because it was
Mm.
fair because it was everyone's first time in a very different environment. So everyone was open to meeting people, new experiences, and it's pretty simple conversing with people there.
Yeah,
Like,
nice. I'm glad to hear. What about the faculty, professors? Because I'm sure, again,
mhm,
going from, Shiv Nadar to
mhm,
now to USC,
mhm,
the
mhm,
teaching system, the teaching style,
mhm.
assignments, tests, everything completely changes.
Yeah.
So, how is it dealing with that and coping with that?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, a very common known difference is, of course, the freedom in academic there. I have the option and freedom to choose my courses, my professors, my timings. And at first, that might be a bit overwhelming because I was like, which professor should I take? Which classes should I take? Would that mess my whole thing up? But after a while, you get used to it, and it's actually much better because at that point, you can adjust yourself and your schedule to your needs. And also with the professors are very nice. I might have lucked out with my professors, but still, like I love all of my professors. They really help me out with everything, and they seem to really care about our progress instead of just the regular pa on paperwork.
That's good.
Hmm.
Nice to hear. And did you, because you're mentioning also about like, picking the right classes and all. So
Hmm.
do you mean you were picking the classes in the fall for the spring, or did you meet your course advisor before you went in the fall semester? Did you have a meeting in the summer to pick classes as well?
Yeah, so I had a meeting with my advisor before I had to select my courses before my fall semester, of course. So we had a meeting with the advisor during the summer break, and she would make us go through all the, she would advise us on what courses it would be better to take on in the first semester. But except that, it was mostly up to us to like go to rate my professor, go to different websites to check which professor you would be most suited to, or maybe check out the courses online, like what are they about. So it's like 50-50.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow. I think why I asked you that question is because I'm just
Hmm.
going to tell you a lot of colleges, what they also do is
Hmm.
that they just know the major that you're coming in with, and you're kind
Hmm.
of assigned the courses for the first
Okay.
semester. Versus a
Hmm.
lot of colleges will take out the time to
Hmm.
begin the course advising system in the summer.
Okay.
Great. What about the social side of it and your orientation week? Because
Hmm.
I know a lot of events take place, and you mentioned that you ended up meeting a lot of friends
Hmm.
at those events.
Yeah.
But what I want to know is tell me a little bit more about these events that take place, because for another student who's perhaps going to USC or a similar school,
Hmm.
what should they be expecting? Like, what is going to happen in that first week?
Yeah. So what I noticed during the first week, where there were events like every night or something, is that it's not a particular like there's not a particular type of USC student there. Like you can become, you can attend whatever you want to, and there's something for everyone there. So like there were there were some parties there were some concerts in the welcome week. Some of them were maybe just chill karaoke, comedy nights, maybe a movie night. Like there was something for everyone, and I think that was very smart because I don't think everyone would be up to anything there, and people really find their groups once there's a variety of things in the welcome
Sure.
week. So you get to know the people you want to.
Yeah. What were some of the concerts you attended? Because I remember stories of you attending some concerts.
It's nice. USC had got Duckworth. I hadn't heard the artist before, but that was also fun though because now I listen to the artist a lot. But even when all of us didn't know about the artist, it was me and my sweet mates who were like, okay, let's go to this event together at the campus. So we all bonded by listening to the songs beforehand. There's simple things like that that made
Yeah.
me make friends.
Yeah. Wow, that's good, man. And
Yeah.
I want to ask you one thing, Vihaan, which is to do
Mhm.
with now coming back to the, your personality, introvert. Although I always feel like people have both sides to them all the
Yeah.
time. Like
Mhm.
you're also extroverted because you are
Mhm.
getting out at the end of the day. It
Yeah.
just takes you a little bit more effort, perhaps, to do that.
Yeah.
Uh, what I want to know is, do you feel there's a change in your personality? Like, do you think you're more on the extrovert side, or you're still the same, but you get out there because you have friends now?
I think yeah, I've noticed this change in a sense that I'm now more open to expressing myself than before. Of course, like now I'm now I'm more open. Like I don't double think before speaking to anyone. Maybe I'm more open to meeting new people at this point, and I think my college experience really played a great role in that because it made me had positive experiences with meeting new people. So that
Yeah.
played a role to building up that confidence.
Yeah. Because you kind of had to just get out there and talk to
Yeah.
people as
And
well.
also the belongingness to being a part of the community. Being in the Trojan community there is pretty it's pretty strong. Like they place a lot of importance to it. So maybe that's also a reason that builds up someone's confidence,
Yeah.
being part of the college community.
I remember this because the
Hmm.
reason I asked you the specific question is because I remember you weren't that open on calls. And I even remember
Hmm.
when we were brainstorming essays together, it used to
Hmm.
take so long. If you remember,
Yeah.
there were certain
Yeah.
calls we had where we were discussing the same topic again and again and again. But
Hmm.
it took us a lot of time to sometimes get down to those stories because
Hmm.
you were just not opening up too much. And I'm already in just, 10 minutes of a conversation we've had so far. I'm
Hmm.
already seeing like a big difference where you're
That's
just
nice.
opening up a
Hmm.
lot more, which is just nice to see. And
Hmm.
crazy because it's only been one semester right now. There's still
Yeah.
like 7 semesters to go and a lot of other experiences for you to go through. So I
Hmm.
think that's a great thing to see.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Vihan, one thing I want to know from you is
Hmm.
we talked about concerts, we talked about the initial week.
Yeah.
There's a lot of students and in fact a lot of parents also. There's this reputation sometimes that USC has that while it's a very good academic school, very rigorous school,
Yeah.
there's this reputation USC has that it's also a party school.
Hmm.
Is that true or not?
Okay, so to tackle that question, I wouldn't call it a party school because the thing is there are parties every weekend, but a
Mm,
lot of the people I know don't go every weekend. It's like it's not any different than any other college. It's just that there's a lot of stuff going on in that university because I've known for myself. I've only gone to parties for my during the first month or something. After that, it slowed down. So
mm,
it's like there's opportunities every weekend, but
yeah.
university students mostly don't go every weekend. It's
Makes sense.
mostly about LA, I think, rather than the university.
Fair enough.
But except that, I think it's just back to that point. Like there's everything for everyone there. Like there's something for everyone there because I rarely see people going party every day. It's like the weekdays are pretty rare.
Yeah.
So it's not any different than any other college party wise. So I wouldn't call it a party school. It's
Yeah.
a perfect balance though.
Good. You're busting the myth basically.
Yeah.
And I get that because a lot of people sometimes think about like
Mhm.
Ivy League schools and all as well, it's all studies and it's really not. Like
No, it's not.
they they party like
Yeah.
it's the end of the world and it's
Yeah.
the last day on the planet. So
Mm.
yeah, I get that. I get what you're saying that it's
Mhm.
like any other school. And
Yeah.
it's interesting to hear that you mentioned that the first month you did end up going out a lot, but then it
Mhm.
kind of slows down. And I think
Mhm.
that's also to do with because it's the first time you have that sort of
Freedom.
freedom and you're
Yeah.
in that environment and you're
Yeah.
making friends. So
Yeah.
everyone's excited to go out.
Yeah.
But I think after a point you settle down and you're like, enough.
That's it.
We need
I
to
can
get on
rest.
with
Yeah.
regular things as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good to hear that you mentioned there's an opportunity to do other things and
Mhm.
there's an opportunity to do whatever you kind of want to do.
Yeah.
So on that, what are
Mhm.
some of the other things? And we'll come to like
Mhm.
even your classes and
Yeah.
being at Marshall
Mhm.
and doing business there as well. But on the topic of activities and doing things outside of the party aspect of it in the
Mhm.
classroom, what are some of the things that you've been involved in so far?
Okay, so like clubs?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I joined the Global Investment Society this semester to try it out. I mean, that was pretty awesome. So there are like different types of, I think, models where people can join. I took the basic one because that's where they really first teach us about what investing and IB and everything usually generally is. So that
Yeah.
was pretty good. I got to meet some cool people there who were also aiming for the same things as me. So that makes it better to have a group with the same goal. And yeah, so being part of a club was definitely awesome because I got to learn things, I got to make friends, and it also gave me a clear path because I got to meet sophomores, juniors, as well as freshmen. So
Hmm.
that was nice.
Nice. And what have been some activities that have happened in the club so far, like from a learning perspective for you?
hmm there have been socializing events. There have been mostly it's classes. It's almost like classes mostly where they have like a presentation. There's one junior who took over the organization maybe by participating in it for the past 2 years, and
Yeah.
that's where they teach us about their experiences. They give us their learnings. They tell us how we can probably score internships in our sophomore years. They give us knowledge beforehand so that we can be ready. So that was particularly for the base mod that I took up for this club, but there are a ton of different clubs, there are a ton of different models. So it
Yeah.
can go either ways.
Nice. Fantastic. Glad to hear that you've gotten
Uh-huh.
yourself involved in a club in the
Yes.
first semester itself. Good.
hmm
And what about like any other clubs? I know, are you a part of any other clubs or that's the one right now?
That's the only one I took for the
Yeah.
first semester.
What about your friends? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what types of clubs exist, let's say, outside of business?
Oh, for sure. The one that's very, very well known is the Formula One racing club there. Like I don't know too much about it, but I think anyone can go to the meeting. This happens around 8 p.m. or something. They everyone gathers around. They brainstorm on making the Formula One cars and something for the university, and it's very
Wow.
cool because it's not only the engineers I noticed, but
Yeah.
it's people from different majors that come every night there to just brainstorm and become part of the club. And it's pretty open to everyone. So there's
Super.
something for everyone there as
Yeah.
well.
Super.
Mhm,
Nice. Good to know. Now, coming to Marshall,
mhm,
and specifically talking about your business degree, you got admitted
mhm.
to the business school at USC, which is a pretty big deal. It's a competitive school.
Yeah.
Uh, what I want to hear is that, let's say if you go to a Columbia University at undergrad and you're
Mhm,
not doing engineering, you're in Columbia College, you're going to do like a core curriculum. You'll do a lot of
mhm,
humanities courses and liberal arts courses.
mhm,
What is that like at USC, considering you've been admitted into the business school? Are you still doing like a liberal arts course,
mhm,
and do you still have core requirements which
mhm.
are outside of business, or are your core requirements within business right now?
Oh no, of course we have to complete our general educational requirements. So there are like different categories for it. So there's like arts, social analysis, humanistic inquiry, stuff like this.
Mhm.
So usually people just spread it over all throughout their semesters. So people might take one per semester and get it over with. But
Yeah.
taking APs has also helped me covering some of them. Like I only took two, but it helped a lot of my friends as well. Like I think I've taken Calc AB that helped me get over with my quantitative analysis one. So
Nice.
that's the stuff that really helps. But except that the general educational classes are really interesting though, because I
Yeah.
personally feel like it gives me an edge over my business degree because I can
Mhm.
add something unique to my portfolio, something except business that I know as well. So like it might give me an edge in all those interviews, if that makes sense.
Amazing. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
I'm just glad
Mhm.
you're speaking that language now. That's
Yeah.
great. What
Mhm.
has been like one interesting class for you?
Um, so I took hip hop music and culture this semester. and that was pretty awesome. And also being in LA, which I would call the hip hop hip hop hub of the world, it was
Yeah.
pretty awesome. Yeah,
That's quite interesting. And again, what were the types of things you did? Because I'm
hmm
guessing you would have written some sort of essays and
yeah,
some assignments would have been there.
yeah.
So could you tell me maybe about one assignment that you worked on? Like what were you trying to do exactly in the class?
It was just mostly learning and getting into the hip hop culture. It's like one of the assignments that we had in class that was pretty interesting was we had to create an imaginary artist, and we were a team of 15, and we had to market that artist for the community. Like we had to get the numbers, we had to talk about him, we had to introduce him to probably possible investors. That was the whole idea. So we had to make a presentation of the mastery artists and present it to investors of the idea to convince them to invest in this artist.
Wow.
Creating an imaginary artist from scratch really made us realize what hip hop is all about. And again, so this class really gave me an edge where if this topic really ever comes up on hip hop, I can contribute. I can contribute somehow. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Very nice.
Mhm.
Reminds me a little bit of like Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah. That was one of our courses, like one of our classes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like one of the weeks was called straight out of com.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very interesting. But this is the best thing, no, about like
Mm.
a US education that it exposes you to all these types of things and it kind
Yeah.
of forces you to think outside of your major also, which is
Yeah.
and you don't realize how that makes a huge impact later on in your life and in your
hmm
own perspective building as well. So that's fantastic. Glad
Yeah.
to hear you're enjoying it.
hmm
On the business front now,
hmm
when do your core business classes start or have the introduction to, marketing, business, all those kind of classes have started or that will happen a little bit later?
So, talk about marketing. I've always had the option to take it last semester or like this semester as well. I don't think that's advanced class, like one of the core classes, but Um, so yeah, those are the requirement classes that I have to take either ways. So I think I could have taken it last semester, the next semester, or even during my sophomore year. But so these are core classes though, I'm pretty sure. Like general requirements that I have to do for my business course. But
Yeah.
after that, I have the option to specialize in something. Like
Yeah.
emphasize on something in my business degree. Like I'm probably going to emphasize on finance, but there's options like entrepreneurship, I think marketing as well, and
Hmm.
probably and finance, of course.
But
So
those
that's
classes
where
have started. Like, I mean, you can start taking them now. You don't have to wait till the end of your first year or sophomore year before you begin that, right?
no, no, I think I have to wait. I have to wait before taking these higher elective classes, which makes me
No, no,
emphasize on something.
I meant the introduction ones, the intro
Oh,
business
the
one, the
the
foundation
marketing and
level. Yeah,
oh no,
yeah.
yeah, of course, I can take that any semester.
Those have started off.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
hmm
Got it. Because it works very differently at every school.
hmm
So I was trying to understand. So you're taking your general education classes and then the
Yeah.
core business ones that are required.
Yeah.
Nice. And now, sort of looking ahead
hmm
to next semester,
hmm
uh, what are some of the plans? Are you looking at internships next summer? Any
hmm
other opportunities?
Yeah, of course. I'm definitely trying to get an internship next semester. Though it's pretty difficult to get one for freshmen, that's what I've heard. But where I can try. But except that for next semester as well, I'm looking forward to my classes. It's definitely going to be fun because next semester the G's and everything's going to be pretty different. I'm going to go into social analysis instead of arts. I'm going
Mm,
to have different business courses. I'm going to have different classes and everything's. I'm just looking at it as as another chance to my freshman semester.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Good. Glad to hear that.
hmm
What about last question for me, which is on just the city of LA and how often are you downtown? How often are you out in the city?
Mhm.
And how accessible is it to you as a student?
So LA as a city is pretty awesome because first talking about the accessibility though, we have a metro line which she also gives us a U pass for that, so it's pretty convenient for us. So that practically takes us everywhere around the city. But sometimes it's not safe to travel there, of course, not at night. So
Mm.
that's when USC actually offers free Lyft rides from 6 to 2 a.m. I think. So
Wow.
that's very, very convenient. Like that gets used a lot by everyone there. And that's actually a more where you meet new people as well because it's a shared lift ride. It's a free
Yeah.
shared lift ride provided by USC. So you would meet all USC students traveling the
Wow.
shared lift ride year nine. So that's also a socializing method, surprising one.
Yeah.
And except that for LA has a lot of stuff like it has beaches, it has mountains, it has the city, it has everything again. Like I would never expect to go hiking, going to the beach, going somewhere in the same city, if that
Right.
makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's why it just has something for everyone
Yeah.
again.
That's wild
That's
to me though.
yeah.
I know it has it, but like every time I
Yeah.
hear that, I'm like, I
It's
cannot.
actually it's actually wild because
Beach and mountains.
yeah, because the one day I would go hiking with my friends the whole day. Next day I would end up at the beach. It's just awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very envious of your USC life right now.
Yeah.
Great, Vihaan. I mean, it
Mhm,
sounds like you're having a great experience and the first semester has been a good success.
mhm,
So, yeah, wishing you the best for the next semester. And I hope the first year ends up being a really good one for you.
mhm.
And yeah, wishing you the best on that. And thanks for doing this. These are
Thank
some
you
good
very much.
insights.
It was a very nice chat. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad. Cool. Stay
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. You too. Thank you.
If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure you subscribe, like, and comment. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Instagram.